All right, you guys, let's see what the ancestors have to say to us. This is a collective reading, message from the ancestors to us. I am feeling quite a lot of this ancestral energy, especially around clearing of family lineage or family patterns. Okay, there's definitely something here about maybe you're blaming yourself for a lot of what is going on in your life, and it's like what I don't want to say is like, oh, you're to blame. You know, blame is not a useful concept here. This is about taking accountability and responsibility, but you don't want to be like hurting yourself. Okay, it's more like a compassionate accountability is what I kind of am saying right now. I don't know why this is just like whoosh before even a card shows up, but there's definitely something that is maybe harming you or blocking you or keeping you stuck, and it's like to take accountability for it feels, you feel this like righteous indignation about that, like why should I, like this is them, why should I have to be the one that cleans up after the elephants, right? Like why should I? So there's something that's keeping you stuck right now that requires your attention. And I feel like there's some kind of energy, the auntie's energy or something like that, flowing through to be like, it's okay, you know, it's all right. You don't have to like ingest the bile or the poison of self blame. But what I do want you to do is to move through it. Okay, I want you to move through it. I want you to heal it. I want you to work through the emotions so that you can get to the other side of this, because you know, there's something empowering coming down the road, and I want you to be ready for it. Okay, that's a message for somebody. Just came dancing right through. Come to the edge. Same. Okay, same. Come to the edge. I got this for a few days. Time for a nap. Time for a nap. Deep knowing. And soulmates. I've also gotten, not this particular card, but soulmates, the soulmates card in a lot of different decks here. And there's definitely something about clearing, and I feel very strongly the energy of resting. Okay, because something big is coming and it's going to require all of your energy. And so, like, there's a, you know, you might feel like there's spaces in your life. Well, it's time to take on a new project. It's time to, you know, do something big. It's time to, and I'm really getting the feeling of between now and August, I don't know why August, probably Lionsgate, that there's needing a time of rest, especially if you're in the Northern Hemisphere and you're, well, doesn't matter. If you're in the Northern Hemisphere, you can enjoy the summer days. If you're in the Southern Hemisphere, you can take refuge from the winter or the fall. Right, we're stepping into winter in the Southern Hemisphere. So however that breaks for you, whatever the weather is, it's almost like the weather doesn't matter. I'm just getting this. This auntie is coming through like, weather doesn't matter. Take a nap. Oh, I love you, auntie, whoever you are. We're going to talk to you some more. I get Aunt Dorothy, my Aunt Dorothy coming through like, weather doesn't matter. Take a nap. Wheel of Fortune, my father's sister, Aunt Dorothy. I love her so much. She passed away 10 years now, I think. Wheel of Fortune. High Priestess, showing up again. The Sun, wow. King of Swords, and look at the Queen of Wands in this deck. Will you please? Look at her. There's definitely something about a soulmate coming in, and I feel like you know it. You feel like it's coming. This is like a very lovely past life connection, a really sweet, lovely energy here. This person could be an air sign or a Leo. Air sign or a Leo. I'm also getting Jupiter here. A lot of Jupiter with this Wheel of Fortune. And then this Cancerian energy of the High Priestess. There's definitely something. And look at her. Look at her, the High Priestess in this deck. This is the Sun and Moon Tarot. And she's like, come hither. Come hither. And it's like this is coming in. And I love the running through the sunflowers. I love that. All right, running through the sunflowers with the sun. That's Leo. All right, so here we go. Six of Pentacles, success, virtue, the Three of Wands. I almost get like you're doing what you're meant to be doing right now. Whatever it is that you have on your plate right now, that's exactly what you're meant to be doing. Don't eat and think about work. Don't sleep and think about work. Don't rest and think about eating, right? Like, what's for dinner? Like, try to be as present in the moment as you can. You're doing exactly what you need to be doing. Here's the Queen of Swords. Very clear. Lots of good clarity showing up right now. Five of Wands. Seven of Pentacles. This feels like the world right now. There's plenty of people around you who are having a lot of issues, strife. The card of Seven of Pentacles is called failure, really. There's people around you doing that. I don't sense that's you at all. And people are Seven of Wands, valor. So there's something about there's people around you going through some changes and some endings. You may even have an ending or two happening here too over the next 7 months. That seems like a long time. I'm going to clarify that. Five of Wands and Seven of Wands is all about kind of doing battle for yourself, but that's maybe why the take a nap thing is happening here, that you know you're stepping into a good direction, and maybe other people aren't super happy about that. Like maybe you're gonna go move to Portugal, or maybe you're gonna buy a house, or maybe you're gonna let go of everything that you own and, you know, do a nomad thing, or there's just other people who have opinions about it. And I feel like they're trying to fight you because they're not doing what they need to be doing. That's usually why it is. Why people get jealous or upset when you do something that has nothing to do with them. They usually get upset because they're not doing what they're here to do, and they know it, right? They're ignoring the call, or they're not paying attention to their intuition. They're blocking their Aunt Dorothy's, okay? So Hierophant, Magician, and the Two of Pentacles. So change coming in here. We have Uranus at the end of Taurus right now. This is Taurus, and Taurus is about what has made us feel stable and solid and secure. And I feel like there's something about like, okay, that's fine. You've been able to do that, but now it's time for change. You can't just get to one thing and stand still. Like, that's not what life's about. There's no such thing as standing still. Okay. And this Magician, whenever you do feel stuck, generally it's because you're trying to stand still on some level. So the Magician and the Two of Pentacles, it's like, okay, which direction do I go in? There's other people who are not super happy about you being able to make decisions. Your cards are Success and Virtue and the Queen of Swords, Six of Pentacles, Three of Wands. There's not a lot of real major arcana stuff going on, but in the cards that are happening underneath, which is what's percolating, lots of big things are percolating. So if you feel like you're waiting for something, or you're being given some space to kind of just go plant the plants, just go, do the things you need to do, and there's nothing big kind of coming down on you right now, then there's a new chapter getting ready to open. So you're in this preparatory. I don't feel like a lot of you are in the downswing. I feel like some of you are resisting change. And mostly because there's other people around you who are resisting strange. Okay, resisting strange, fair enough, but resisting change. So who are these people and what's going on here? Futility, Seven of Swords, another seven, Two of Cups, Knight of Pentacles, and the Six of Cups. Okay, so this is somebody that maybe this has to do also, not just people around you who don't like to see you change, but there's somebody who is a soulmate, who is about to come in, who has been fighting their own change. Okay, they've been really fighting their own change, mostly because they're like super duper responsible dude or gal. They don't like the idea of messiness, that like life is going to get messy here for a minute. They don't want other people to change, and it's really cluing into them. Now, some of you may be in this group. If that's resonating for you, if you are like, I feel resistance and struggle right now. I feel like I'm trying to hold everything together. That's what it is. If you're trying to hold everything together, my suggestion to you is, what if you didn't? What if you went more with the flow of things and just see what happens? Because I feel like there's a sense when things change that fear of failure comes in. Even though you don't know the next level is really kind of awesome, to accept that things are going to change means there's some acceptance of what you have termed as failure. It's not like anybody's standing around you with a sign going, this is failure, this is what failure looks like. No one's doing that. When people are around you trying to hold you back, that's their failure. That's their decision to be like, I don't want to feel failure in my own life, so I don't want you to grow. I'm going to pull you back into the bucket with me. And if you have felt like you've been resisting some kind of change, it's likely because you think the end of something means it's failure. And what I'm saying to you is, we have this tradition in this country that the only marriages that succeed are ones that last until you die. What if something is just meant to end when it's meant to end? What if that's okay? What if we gotta look at this and like a commitment to each other and make a real commitment to each other? I'm getting, Kurt and Goldie, like they didn't do this traditional thing. They just said, we make a commitment to each other to raise the children and to have our lives and all that kind of stuff. And they've done that. I'm sure not without a lot of, working on it, because that's what it takes. And I don't think I might be talking about marriage here for some of you, because there is love coming in. But I feel like there's a sense of like, the life I chose or the path I chose 6, 10, 12 months ago, 6, 10, 12 years ago. Those numbers are coming up. 6, 10, 12. 6 months, 6 years. 6, 10 months, 10 years. 12 months, 12 years. Something like that. Those numbers are coming up. And if something is coming to an end, I suggest that to try to hold things together is going to slow down the process. It's not going to stop it. It's not going to stop it. It's not going to stop this new chapter from coming in. But there's something here about allowing with this take a nap energy. Okay. And this really the thing that's sticking out to me is this card that says failure. And that's a social construct. That's not something you were born with. You did not born going, oh, it's a failure if I don't learn to walk by the time I'm 2 years old, or I don't need to learn to speak in my first however many months, or if I don't. No baby thinks that. It's the parents that think that, right? No baby, you're not born with that. So this is something that might be worth looking at. If you're really trying to hold something together that is moving out of your life, what is the social construct? What is the ancestral lineage that says this is a failure if this doesn't continue? Even as, ugly and disgusting as it's getting, unhealthy, let's use those words instead, unhealthy, because it's labeled a failure. And I really want you to look at that, because I feel like that's what's happening here, is that you can let go of something that you have termed a failure that is just sort of the end of a chapter. We have these arbitrary success milestones that I feel like you get to make your own now. There's something about success milestones that can you celebrate little successes along the way instead of everything, because this is about perfectionism. That something has to be perfectly done and completed before we'll even give ourselves any credit for doing it. Right? The whole entire house needs to be organized. I can't just be like, yay, go you, because I organized that awful drawer. Like, that's all I had the energy to do today, so I'm organizing this particular drawer. Good enough. Why does it have to be like everything is done and completed? Because, life is like websites. It's never done. You're always continually moving through change and flow and flux. And it's only when you stand still and go, no, this isn't changing. And that means that that means that there might be resistance, and resistance is due to a mindset failure. Okay. So let's move on from this. Queen of Swords is getting clarity around this topic that I'm talking about. And Queen of Swords, what say you here? Queen of Swords, Eight of Pentacles, King of Wands, Five of Pentacles, and the King of Cups. I feel like the Queen of Swords is you, and there's a deep knowing that some of you even ended a chapter a long time ago and have sat in that liminal space, especially around a love relationship. Like, you may or may not want one. That's totally fine. Like, whatever you want, totally up to you. But if there's resistance, that's a different thing. If you're like at peace with something, like I'm at peace with, if this is you, I'm making this up, right? If I'm at peace with having my good friends and having my work and having my life, I'm at peace with that. Do I want to add a love relationship? Sure, if it's something that's a really good fit. I see King and Queen of Swords and King and Queen of Wands here. Okay, and I also see this King of Cups, which is about a love offer coming in, mature. And there is something about having gone through a lot. This person has gone through a lot. They've moved through this chapter that we're talking about. And there's something here with this High Priestess and this deep knowing. There's something here that, like, you've gone through similar stuff. And it could be anybody coming in. But for some of you, there's a real resistance to this new chapter coming in because of how you think about the old chapter ending. So manifesting, Magician and the Two of Pentacles is kind of standing still right now. Okay, manifesting. It's standing still, but it's standing still like you have those little games on your phone where you're like trying to hold back the wall and it just keeps moving. Like, I know you think it's standing still. Truce, Strength, Debauch. There's the other seven. Seven of Swords, Seven of Pentacles, Seven of Wands, Seven of Cups. We got all the sevens. Sevens are a very spiritual number. 10 of Wands. So finally letting it go. Finally healing from some kind of fantasy. Some of you are healing from some kind of I feel like some of you have held on to a fantasy that this person's going to turn around the last minute. This person's going to finally say something nice. This person's going to finally change. This person's going to finally do what they need to do. And so you're kind of just like waiting at the door. You're like, all right, I'm going. I'm really going now. I'm really going to shut this door when I leave. Okay. And, if you hear the click of the door, that means I'm really gone. Like, there's just been this, like, death by 1,000 paper cuts here, like very incremental. And it's like the death of a fantasy. The fantasy that this person is really able to get out of some kind of box that they're in. They're staying in that box because to leave that box, they would see it as a failure. So if you have this construct swimming around in you, it's likely you have some kind of cord to a person who's really strongly in this energy. This, like, if I leave this box, even though it's the worst thing in the world, it's never going to change. It's never going to get better. I've done what I needed to do. I feel like the chapter's closing, but I'm going to stay here and atrophy because to leave it would be deemed as a failure. There's a lot of people like that walking around on this planet, and I almost feel like that's a tower moment in the making for them. But I also feel that that's their lesson. This is something that doesn't have much to do with you. And I almost feel like the aunties are coming through to say, hey, you know what? Look what's coming through here. Look what awesomeness is coming through here. I really think you need to let go of this cord. And like, send them off with love. Send them off with love. I feel like this person is like living in futility. Like they think that they'll never, nothing will ever change for them. And they're right, because they're the ones that are holding on. So this very, very stubborn energy here with this Knight of Pentacles. And I just feel like, you might want to do some kind of exercise or some kind of goodbye ceremony to this person, just energetically letting them go, releasing them, and, sending them off with love. And, this new chapter is trying to come in for you. So it's coming, and it's coming. It's like hearing a horse's hooves all the way down the road. Like you feel it galloping toward you. And I'm saying that because I'm really seeing that with these these kings are really like galloping, right? They're really moving, as opposed to this other person who is like, look at how much resistance that bull has. Like, I'm literally like not going to move forward. So King of Cups is galloping. King of Swords is galloping. And, you're just like in a good place. Queen of Wands, High Priestess. And so allowing for the joy. Allowing for the joy. I like that. Let's allow for the joy. I want to do that timing thing before. So the timing, let's see what comes up with the timing. Let's see if I can get the Ancestor. Please show us timing here. Okay. 2 weeks, 10 days. That's not a lot of time. That's not a lot of time. We have just had, I'm going to share with you. Jupiter moved into Cancer yesterday as I'm doing this reading on June 9th. Jupiter moves into Cancer. Going to be there for a year. That's a lot about feelings, right? That's a lot about feelings and joy. We have had, on the 15th, I want to call this out to you, Mars square Uranus. That stubborn energy of Uranus and Taurus. I don't want to change. Uranus is like 28 degrees. Okay, and Mars is squaring it. So Mars is the energy of action. And there's just like this, I feel like this is a breakthrough moment here where you say, Uranus is about reinventing oneself. Taurus is about, no, I'm going to hang with the safety and security of this. But it's squaring Mars. Mars in Leo. Mars is going to move into Virgo pretty soon. But Mars, it's like its last breath says, move, do it, get out of this, send this person on their way. Been standing in front of you. I've been doing readings over the past couple of months where I've seen this person standing in your way. It's time to like cut them loose. All right, let's go deeper. Let's ask Aunt Dorothy what's going on. All right, so link is below if you want to continue on with me if this is your reading. I'll see you over there.